4-1. No, ma prima dovevamo accendere tutti i macchinari. Devi accendere prima il proiettore, è acceso. Compa, spegni tutto là. Spegni tutto. Spegni. Spegni. Ok, accendi il proiettore. E là, apri lo sportello. Allora, qua siamo in diretta, vedi? Aspetta, stavo
cercando. La cucina qui. Stavo cercando di fare.
Perfetto.
Conosci il programma? Mac.
No, Mac invece devo averlo comprato uno. Chiudo, spengo, chiudo tutto. Il case che viene in alluminio. Per questo l'ho preso perché è infinissimo, in maniera più semplice. No, mio fratello è quello tecnico, mi ha detto se non è così mi sembra maggiormente il calore. Sì. Vabbè, ma è dopo. Sì, è dopo. La facciamo? Volevo
basta che mi dici dove sono messe e poi vedere la file.
Dopo, domani si sta registrando. No, nessuno va più.
Domani mattina però, alle 9, grazie a Anna.
Sì. Va bene, se qualcuno se ne deve andare poco prima, glielo diamo poco prima, lo fa e poi gli altri li facciamo giusti. Ok?
Aspetta.
Non puoi togliere. Lascialo così.
L'ho fatta io, cioè l'ho fatta con le bandierine.
Ok,
Non è fatta apposta, tipo
batterie, ce la facciamo con la telecamera. Volevo fare vedere che io ce la metto il video. Lascio andare
dobbiamo mettere. Devi accendere con la telecamera. Con quella classica che ci mettiamo
intorno al tavolo. Ok, questo è un giro. Se attivare quello e basta. Ciao.
Mi raccomando con me.
Sorry, just before to start, I would like to show you the two videos that we produced just before lunch, just to have. We're gonna have the audio. Wait. Perché non ho l'audio?
Aspetta, perché non ce l'hai? Però aspetta. Pronti?
Sì.
Possiamo fare? Provaci.
This was the second test and this is the first. Probably the first, it's the best one. Okay. Are we ready? We can start? The second session, the section of the afternoon, will start with Leslie, that she will speak about Pilates and exercise for aged people.
Where's the presentation, Filippo?
Next.
Okay. Here. Okay. You see me? Okay. Hello. My name is Leslie Bell. I'm an anthropologist officially, but I work as a Pilates teacher here in Palermo. And I have the pleasure today of discussing physical activity for aging populations. I have many clients who are elderly, who are aging, who have had a lot of benefit from physical activity. And so that's what I have the pleasure of discussing with you today. I wanted to start by watching one of the videos that is part of the Erasmus Sport Project, which kind of talks about physical activity specifically for elderly.
Part funded by the European Commission. Europe faces a demographic challenge. Each year, the life expectancy in the old continent increases by 3 months. The number of people aged over 65 will double in the next 50 years. 2/3 of the 55 to 69-year-olds and about 3/4 of the over 70-year-olds only seldom or never exercise. This will put an enormous pressure on our healthcare systems, unless something changes.
The Promoting Active and Healthy Aging project, the PARA project, is focused on people between 55 and 65 years old. The project will run in 8 countries: Denmark, Finland, Germany, Greece, Portugal, Ireland, Hungary, and the UK. Through a structured and supervised exercise program, the aim of Europe Active is to simply convert currently inactive people into regular exercise at a level that is beneficial to their health.
Passa por ser uma social para eles, passa por ser uma forma de viver poupado, sentirem bem durante a seguida daquela semana. É uma forma de estarem com pessoas e então aprenderem, mexerem-se e fazerem um pouquinho mais alguma coisa para nos sentirem bem diariamente. Vários benefícios constantemente. Temos todos, mesmo todos os temos atenção voltada e a maior parte da situação, possivelmente sendo das coisas que vai levar logo, a nível da visão social, em Portugal, vamos começar a sensibilizar e comunicar com a saúde mental dos
Mas é as tais dores que eu gosto de ter,
Through the support of technology and the use of mindfulness, we'll be able to develop methodology by measuring the physical activity levels during and after the project.
Physical activity can help Europe's older generation to remain independent and maintain a good quality of life. This is what Part R is all about.
Okay. So as we can see from the video, the European Union is on board, and as we're trying to get everybody active, we want to get elderly and aging populations active as well. As the numbers of elderly people increase across Europe, so will the burden increase on the national sanitary services. So physical activity is fundamental to help the aging population stay healthy, and as a result, they'll rely less on the national sanitary systems. Physical activity is also essential in helping elderly populations maintain and enjoy their quality of life as they age. What can the role of physical activity be for aging populations? First off, it can help manage symptoms of common health conditions that we see especially in aging populations, such as high cholesterol, problems with high blood pressure, diabetes, which you already spoke about today, arthritis, osteoporosis, neurological disorders that often rear their heads in older age, herniated discs, back problems. Basically, physical activity helps combat the wear and tear on the body that, of course, grows with time. Physical activity, as I've seen, especially with my clients, helps with pain management. So people who come with chronic pain, back pain, arthritis pain, find benefit in movement. Physical activity, most importantly, serves to maintain function in aging populations. So we want to keep people as independent and as mobile for as long as possible, with the ability to do everyday activities, and if we can coordinate the physical activity in a functional way so we can maintain strength, we can maintain balance, we can help avoid falls, we can help avoid secondary injuries that often come as a result of being sedentary and out of shape. Physical activity also improves mental health. The sense of community that people have when they perform physical activity together is not to be underestimated. And of course, physical activity helps prevent secondary and tertiary health problems which are associated with the sedentary lifestyle. So as one ages, one maybe is less active for a variety of reasons, which leads to other health problems. What are some protocols for physical activity that we need to consider when we're considering an older client? The main objective should be to build and maintain strength. After a certain point in our lives, we're no longer able to build new strength, so the focus should be on maintaining the strength that we already have. And that's important for simple things like sitting up and standing, getting out of a chair, taking a shower, walking, avoiding the old person shuffle with the feet, so we don't trip, so we don't fall, so we don't break bones. So thinking about building strength and maintaining the strength that we have, especially through weight-bearing exercises. And this is also very important for people with osteoporosis, which can also be elderly men, not just women. So any program for physical activity for elderly population should definitely include a weight-bearing, strength building and maintaining aspect to the program. It's also important to work on flexibility. As people are more sedentary, The less they move, the less flexible they are. Then you have pain coming from muscle tightness. You have muscle contractures. So including flexibility into a physical activity program is fundamental. Working on posture and alignment is also critical. As we go through our lives, we all have our own habits of movement, and those habits become reflected in our body and our posture. And as we become more asymmetrical, we begin to suffer symptoms from overuse of one part of our body. So implementing exercises and activity to realign the body will help bring everything back into balance, creating less pain, creating less compensation, and allowing the body to function better. Another important factor about physical activity is neuroplasticity. So just because people are older does not mean they cannot continue to learn, and does not mean that their brain stops functioning. So neuroplasticity is the capacity of the brain to create new pathways, to modify itself, and to go around problems or blocks that it encounters in the brain. This is especially true for neurological patients who have Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, stroke, even Alzheimer's. So by implementing physical activity, especially for older populations, we can create new pathways in the brain to help communicate between the two hemispheres, but also to help regain lost mobility, if we're discussing a stroke, for example, to regain function. When we discuss physical activity for aging populations, it's also important that we're careful about what kind of activity we're talking about. We want low impact, safe movements, and it's very important that we use the correct technique. People with osteoporosis can break bones just by bending over the wrong way or by twisting. So it's very important that the groups of people doing the activity are very well followed by the teacher. The teacher's prepared to teach them the right kind of technique so they can learn how to move their bodies correctly. And the functionality of the movement is to apply what you're doing at your lesson into your daily life. So when you're turning in your car, when you're reaching to get something, when you're bending down, and really relating the physical activity you're doing to everyday activities. A few things to remember when working with aging populations who might not be thrilled to start moving, especially if they've never been moving before, that they need encouragement. And they need to know that even if they've never done sports, if they've never been active in their lives, they can still start, even if they're older, and they can still have benefits. In my personal experience, my clients who are older give me the most satisfaction because the progress they manage to make in their lives and in their bodies is much more impressive than many of the younger clients that I have. Creating community is also an important part of physical activity because it increases the chances of long-term success. When the clients come to a lesson and they feel like they have friends and people they can share the experience with, it's more enjoyable. They want to come, they want to continue, they have fun, and it becomes another activity like going out to dinner where they can have fun with their friends and their colleagues. Again, no one is ever too old to start moving, and everyone can benefit from even minimal amounts of physical activity. They don't have to start running, they don't have to do competitive sports. Little changes can really help the body health-wise. And another factor that we discussed a few days ago at another roundtable is collaborating with health professionals. So fitness and movement professionals collaborating with doctors, physical therapists, and specialists allow the health professional to follow the progress of the patient to see if they're having benefits and improvements in the quality of life. That could be they're less depressed, it could be they have less pain, they have more mobility. And it also helps the fitness or the movement professional create a customized workout or a customized training for the clients they have based on their needs. So when we open these paths of communication between doctors and between movement professionals, we can have even better results. And the European Union has implemented the protocols for adaptive physical activity, which you've probably been talking about these days as well, which is based on collaboration between medical professionals and movement professionals to help follow and give the best services possible to all populations, but especially to aging populations. And that is basically my talk for today. So I don't know any of you. I don't know if any of you work with older populations. I don't know if you're movement specialists. If you have any questions for me, I would be happy to answer. My specialty is Pilates and postural gymnastics.
The next speaker is Dr. Vlaovic. Okay, sorry. Dr. Drenjak. Sorry for the pronunciation.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasna Lulic-Drenjak and I came from Croatia, Rijeka, like my colleague Luka and Hrvoje, who will be after me. I will tell you something about the sports for the disabled because I work for International Paralympic Committee more than, I think, 17 years, like a classifier for swimming. So first, I will show you a film. choose archery for the start because I was really honored today that I meet a golden girl from Turkish representative, Miss Gizem, please. She is the golden woman from 2008, sorry, and thank you very much that you are here with us, because I will talk something about disabled sport, and I think maybe you are this person who need to talk about that, so sorry, it's my turn today. Okay, now we can start. Where is the start? Revisione? No? From the first. Thank you. Okay. And this little picture from the left is the Croatian woman who I think this year it will be her 10th Paralympic Games. She comes from our country and also the country from Rijeka, and he already took 10 Paralympic medals from athletics. Sports for disabled, also known as adaptive sports or parasports, are sports played by persons with disability, including physically or intellectually disabilities. As many disabled sports are based on existing able-bodied sport, modified to meet the needs of persons with a disability, they are sometimes referred to as adaptive sports. So also we have some sport who practice only persons with disabilities. There is not adaptive sport, there is sport only for persons with disabilities. For example, like the sports for the blind people, we will look this video later. Organized sport for athletes with a disability is generally divided into 4 broad disability groups: the deaf, people with physical disabilities, blind people or visually impaired people, and people with intellectual disability. Each of these groups has a distinct history, organization, competition program, and approach to sport. We know that sport has value in everyone's life. It's even more important in the life of a person with disabilities. This is because of the rehabilitative influence sport can have not only on the physical body, but also on rehabilitation people with this disability into society. Sport also teach independence. Today, people with a disability participate in high performance as well in competitive and also in recreational sport. The number of people with disability involved in sport and physical recreation is steadily increasing around the world. And the International Organization of Sport for the Disabled, or ISOD, are independent organizations recognized by the International Olympic Committee as the sole representatives of a specific impairment group. This is this for ISOD: Cerebral Palsy International Sports and Recreation Association, International Blind Sport Federation, International Sport Federation for Persons with an Intellectual Disability, and International Wheelchair and Amputee Sports Federation. Other sports organizations for persons with disabilities are International Committee of Sports for the Deaf, Special Olympics, and now with very increasing Sport Union for athletes with Down syndrome. IPC is the global governing body of the Paralympic movement. Its purpose is to organize the Summer and Winter Paralympic Games and acts as the international federation for 9 sports. The vision is to enable para-athletes to achieve sporting excellence and inspire and excite the world. Founded in 1989 as a non-profit organization, is based in Bonn, Germany, and aims to develop sports opportunities for all people with an impairment from the beginner to elite level. Some few things about the history. So the sports for athletes with an impairment has existed more than 100 years. The first club was in Berlin in 1889. And in 1944, at the request of the British government, Dr. Ludwig Gutmann opened a spinal injury center at the Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Great Britain. And in time, rehabilitation sport evolved to recreational sport and then to competitive sport. In 1948, the day of the opening ceremony of the London Olympic Games, Dr. Gutmann organized the first competition for wheelchair athletes, which he named the Stoke Mandeville Games. And also the first sport was archery. These games later become the Paralympic Games, which took place here in Rome, Italy, in 1960, with 400 athletes from 23 countries. First Winter Games started in Sweden in 1976, and from then have taken place every 4 years. We also have CP ISRA, who have a vision worldwide people who have cerebral palsy or related neurological condition have the opportunity to participate in the sport and recreational activity of their choice. And the mission is to promote and develop the means by which people through the world can have access to opportunities for participation in sport and recreational activities. International Blind Sports Federation is a non-profit organization founded in Paris in 1981, and its mission is to promote the full integration of blind people and partially sighted people in society through sport, and to encourage people with a visual impairment to take up and practice sport. After the film. And the International Wheelchair and Amputees, following the vision of Sir Ludwig Gutmann, EWoS was formed in 2004 following the amalgamation of International Stoke Mandeville Wheelchair Sport Federation. And its vision is to inspire worldwide achievements in sport. This year we have EWoS Juniors game in Prague, and I think it will start next week. International Committee of Sports for the Deaf is the main governing body responsible for the organization of Deaf Olympics and other World Deaf Championships. It founded in 1924. They try not only to compete in their respective sport, but also to develop friendships between the countries. So we have Olympic Games, we have Paralympic Games, and we have Deaf Olympics, so it's equal. Special Olympics, they try to discover a new strength and ability, skills and success for people with intellectual disability. Participate in sport, athletes find joy, confidence, and fulfillment. They also inspire people in their communities and elsewhere to open their hearts to a wider world of human talents and potential. The mission is to provide year-round sport training and athletic competition. They try to develop physical fitness, demonstrate courage, experience joy, and participating in a sharing of gifts, skills, and friendships. And the last one, it's a sport union for athletes with Down syndrome. They try to promote sport worldwide for athletes with Down syndrome to the highest levels of sporting excellence. So this is the last one, but before we finish, I will show you one more film. Two more films. The First, I will show you global. This is the sport only blind people can perform. Special sport, not adapted sport from. It's very interesting sport. They need to be very quiet with this type to start to play with this ball. Maybe someone from you will see this the first time. First, they always, the judges look if everybody have this blackout mask, because they want partially blind people and blind people be at the same level, so they all wear this black. about this. So that's what we are doing in Rijeka. We have a Rijeka Association for Sport for the Disabled People, and we try to give them a place where they can play sports.
The next speaker is Vlakovic, Dr. Vlakovic.
So, hello again. My name is Felway, and I came from Faculty of Health Studies, University of Rijeka. After Jasna, I will tell you about classification in Paralympic swimming. At first, what is classification in Paralympic sports? Classification is an integral part of sports of people with disabilities, a process of grouping contestants with similar capabilities. In swimming, classification consists of bench testing, testing on some bed, water testing, and observation during the competition. After the qualification, the swimmer gets its class and status. In swimming, we have 10 classes, S1 to S10. S10 is small disability, S1 is biggest disability. For the sake of sport itself, it's necessary to educate the class first on a national and international level. One becomes an authorized classifier after obtaining an education by the IPC swimming standards on an international level. Sports of people with disabilities develop fast year after year. That will not be possible if it weren't for a classification system. So again, main goal of classification is grouping of contestants with similar capabilities for the purpose of a fair competition. Classification exists in standard sports as well, such as wrestling, boxing, judo, and weightlifting. In these sports, athletes are classified by their weight. One of the obligations of the IPC swimming is on the international organization that takes care of the competitive swimming of people with disabilities is to educate the classifiers. A contestant cannot compete if he is not classified. So functional classification system is based on the maximal capability of a top-rated athlete with physical disabilities. So on this slide, you see process of classification. Process of classification begins with the swimmer's signature on the application form. This is, of course, application form. So classification is made of bench testing, which represents the medical part of the test, and it's usually performed by physical therapists or physicians who are familiar with the methodology. The coordination test, as well as the muscle strength and the mobility of joint. The measurements of the trunk and the extremities are taken, and specific tests are performed. For example, the test of the lower shoulder for butterfly swimming. And this is an example of bench testing. This is questionnaires, what swimmers must fulfill. After the bench testing, second step is water testing. Water testing is the technical part of the test that is made under supervision of technical classifiers. This must be kinesiologists or swimming coaches. What is observed in the buoyancy of the swimmer as well as the start, the flip turns in the swimming technique. The data obtained during the bench test is compared to what is being shown in the water. So we discussed about class with bench together, about bench test, water testing, observation during competition, and after that swimmers had class. This is example of water test: floating on front, floating on back, swimming 15 meters, freestyle, breaststroke, and backstroke. And third thing in classification is observation of the contestant during the competition by the medical and technical classifiers. So during the competition, we must watch the start, the turning, and the technique of swimming. So levels of classification. Swimmer can be classified on the national and international level. The swimmer can be tested on an international level only if he is classified by two authorized IPC classifiers for swimming, one medical and one technical classifier. So in swimming, we have S, SM, and SB class or category. S means freestyle, butterfly, and backstroke. SM is medley, and SB is breaststroke. So it's different class for every style. For physical impairment, we have sport classes from 1 to 10. So a lower number indicates a more severe activity limitation than a higher number. You will notice that athletes with different impairments compete against each other. The impact of the impairment on a swim performance, however, is similar. So in the same category we have, for example, a swimmer with CP and swimmer without, I don't know, one limb, two limb. So neurological problems and physical limitation. I don't know what to tell you about all that class, would be too long. So from S1 to S10 is physical impairment, from S11 to S13 is visual impairment, and S14 is intellectual impairment. The status of swimmer: after the classification, the swimmer obtains one of the status, N, C, or R. N status is a trainee classifier or a regional classifier, and just one authorized classifier might classify the swimmer, and they can do that exclusively in their country or region. That's N. C status, sport class status confirmed, C, is assigned to an athlete who has been evaluated by an international classification, and the international classification panel has determined that the athlete's sport class will not change. In R status, sometimes the swimmer will get R symbol by two authorized classifiers, which stands for review status. For example, R status we gave to young athletes, or for, I don't know, some chronic disease. And every swimmer can be reclassified. Once the swimmer has been internationally classified, he can be reclassified only if there has been a change in the damage or if there has been change in the classification system. Something about education. One becomes an authorized classifier after an education done by the IPC swimming regulation. The education starts on a national level where the trainee participates in the classification of the contestants on a national level in the presence of a more experienced classifier who can but doesn't need to possess an international license. After that, what follows is the attendance of an online course in English, which consists of 16 modules. current status or situation in Croatia. In Croatia, there is currently one regional European technical classifier and 3 trainees who have passed the online course. The process of making potential medical and technical classifiers more familiar with the classification system, as well as the classification process itself, begins with the studies at the University of Physiotherapy and Physical Education, in particular through the subject of sport of people with disability. So that's in short dots something about classification in Paralympic swimming. So if you have some questions, be my guest. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Now the last session of the day is the ongoing monitoring activity. The talk will be performed by Alessandro Pozzi, that is from the Istituto Italiano di Valutazione. Just for everyone, this talk is more focused for the local supervisor and for the subcontract, the local agent. So if all the other people, they want to go around, look the city, you are free to go. The important is we will have the dinner at 7:30. So please come here just a little bit before so we can go all together to the restaurant. Thank you. See you later. If you want to go.
Remain or leave?
Leave. Leave or remain?
They will accept everyone like you here.
No, these. No, these are. Ok. Posso in piedi?
No, ma questa parte la posso
Tanto no.
Questo lo stacchiamo.
Ok.
Sì, inizia più che altro. Secondo me stanno decidendo. Le cartettine? Ora dobbiamo.
Ok.
Vuoi parlare in piedi tu ormai? Se vuoi.